We are back again with the Critical Drinker. Shout out to the Critical Drinker. Shout out to all of you who check out my video. Go show Critical Drinker some love. I wanted to make my own personal video on this, but I couldn't even bring myself to want to watch Velma. My brother and I were sitting in the living room and we're sitting here like, he's like, yo, is this Scooby-Doo? What the hell is this? And I'm like, Velma? She got her own show now? And I'm like, wait. Velma's like Spanish? Velma's like Mexican? I was like, why they got her tan like that? And then like Shaggy's black, and I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? I was losing my mind. So anyways, I don't know much about the show. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. Let me get my intro out the way. Welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen. Sending out a lot of love. As always, take fate into your own hands. Again, shout out to Critical Drinker. So yeah, Velma is complete and utter trash. This got sent to me. And yeah, I'm glad because I was seeing all the videos pop up of like, Velma isn't funny, this Velma is worse than you can imagine. And I was like, oh, it's funny that this is popping up in my algorithm now because I just saw it. So either the algorithm's harvesting me or this is the universe giving my ass a sign to watch one of these and just, you know, talk about it. And I was like, when I first watched, I guess I'll give my thoughts before we get into the video. When I first got on, I was like, hold on, like, it's okay to make spins of things or spoofs of things, yada yada, etc., etc. But I thought Scooby-Doo was one of those things that we never touch. You know, you don't see like some edgy spin-off of SpongeBob, and even if so, things like Rick and Morty are like edgier, darker comedy type of shows and more existential shows would reference these things within their universe. So, you know, I thought Scooby-Doo was one of those things that would always stay like universally for kids, like, I don't know. So when we first hit on Velma, I was like, oh, boom, we're straight there, you know, like we're straight to the girls' derriere, we're straight to the shower scene, cliche, like, and I kind of threw me off the wrong way. I'm not saying none of that is bad, but I'm like, no way that this is about to be that. And then like the first girl or whatever is Daphne. I was like, what? And then like they like character assassinated Fred, and like I remember Fred, like, I don't know, and I was just like, damn, these, and then they took, I'm pretty sure Scooby's not in there, and I was like, okay, maybe whoever wrote this or whatever's going on, they knew they couldn't touch Scooby because the hell, no, like, no. But see, I see a video over there by Alex Myers that all this Velma stuff is popping up, so I got to get it out of my system. I seen Meat Canyon do a video too. I was going to react to that, but honestly, a little bit worried about that because I remember one Meat Canyon thing I reacted to was like the one he did of Looney Tunes. My video, like my channel got its first warning because of that. I was like, oh shit. But I guess this will be my kind of thing on the Velma thing, and I watched the Meat Canyon one on stream if y'all bring it up, but I stream over on Twitch. So let's get into this video. Shout out to Critical Drinker. Let's go. But yeah, man, it seemed like character assassination to me, man. It blew my mind.
Let's talk for a moment about cliches. Ideas, expressions, or situations that get repeated and overused to the point where...
Okay, my bad to stop it already, but that's what I'm glad that he's starting with, cliches, because that's what it seemed like. It seemed like the whole Velma thing was just like edgy, dark, like the kind of dark humor that didn't work really well, and it was just, I don't know,
where they become tiresome, predictable, and boring. Like the movie villain who pauses at the moment of victory to explain his diabolical plan. The awkward, unattractive, socially inept guy who somehow ends up with a smoking hot girlfriend. Or the aging, cynical cop taking on one last case before he retires. Or the modern remake of an old IP that race and or gender swaps the majority of its characters, makes women the driving force behind every narrative event, introduces gay romance where none existed before, and makes straight white men the target of every single piece of mean-spirited humor from start.
Yeah, yes, yeah, like making Fred like this, I was like, what the hell is going on?
To finish. Which brings me neatly along to Velma, an HBO remake of the classic Scooby-Doo TV show from the 1970s about a team of mismatched teenagers who travel around the country in a van solving local mysteries. There was Fred, the suspiciously fashion-conscious leader of the team who was always on the lookout for another case to solve. Daphne, his beautiful and accident-prone girlfriend. Velma, their geeky and awkward but highly intelligent friend from high school. Shaggy, a cowardly stoner who often ended up being chased by whatever ghost or monster was was on the prowl that week, and of course, his talking doggo Scooby, who was always on the lookout for another snack. Yeah, don't think too much about it, just go along with it. It was a show that I could...
But it was, even though he says don't think too much, just go along with it, it was cute, man. It was like a childhood. It's the weirdest...
describe as light-hearted, campy and well-meaning fun, with a neat and surprisingly wholesome message about the value of friendship, people from different backgrounds working together, and the importance of logical thinking and looking beyond the obvious to see the truth of a situation. Now, allow me to transport you into the horrifying nightmare that is modern entertainment.
Let me grab this thumbnail right here with you guys. There we go. Velma. Yeah. Oh man, it's just odd.
With the release of Velma, a kind of high school drama and theoretical comedy about the origins of the mystery team, and if you look closely, you may notice a few subtle differences from the original show. Like the fact that Velma is now an acid-tongued, race-swapped lesbian. Daphne is now a bitchy mean girl and half-Asian drug dealer living with her two mums. I can't do this, man. Shaggy is now a black high school news reporter for some reason with an unrequited crush on Velma, and because the show needs an object of mockery, Fred is now a mentally challenged, hormone-deficient rich kid who's so spoiled that he literally doesn't know how to cut up the food on his own plates. Oh my god, I feel like I'm having some kind of existential crisis here. I mean, This is real. This is a thing which actually got made.
That is exactly what we said. This is a thing that actually got made. And honestly, can we all wake up for a second and see the obvious reason shit like this gets put out? There has to be some psychological manipulation that they're trying to do, bro. No one could wake up and think this was actually a good idea. But then I also go, well, creation is perfect, right? And someone actually thought of this and was like, yo, this is fire. But I just genuinely want to know, or like, not genuinely. No, I'm lying. I just want to know what the thought behind this was, and if the person who created and wrote it, whatever, was like, yo, this is going to be fire. Because honestly, I respect that. I don't want to shit on anyone's creation because someone could think my channel is completely ass. All right, big whoop. But you know, I feel like based on like the images they're using and the cliches, that there is some type of manipulation they want to promote here with, because I just don't know. And honestly too, it feels like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's to literally get an emotional reaction out of people.
Wrote all of this stuff down, people edited and refined it, a big room full of experienced executives greenlit it, and whole teams of voice actors and animators and video editors helped to turn it into reality. Millions of dollars were spent on this professional production that people genuinely believed was going to be a worthwhile artistic endeavor.
You serious?
Honestly, I thought She-Hulk represented the creative nadir of modern entertainment, but if Velma's taught me anything at all, it's that no matter how far we may sink as a culture, there's always some horrifying new low that we can descend into. I think Velma may actually be one of the most repulsive, creatively bankrupt, nasty, mean-spirited, and reprehensibly terrible things I've ever watched in.
And this is not like shout out to the animators and voice actors and everything, because I feel like, you know, but though you do play a part if nobody's speaking up, but I feel like maybe somebody spoke up. But nah, I feel like if you spoke up, maybe you got kicked out. Who knows? I want to say big shout out to the animators though, because I mean, Fred, Daphne, Velma, and Shaggy, like the crew and the animations and the designs look nice. I'm not sure what the race swap idea was. Not sure. Like maybe that would have been even cooler, but I bet if the writing was different and the animation stayed the same, and even if maybe it was a little bit more adult, it still would have been like, it would have been cool as hell. Maybe, possibly, like we wanted an edgier Scooby-Doo as an idea. You've seen that done with certain things, so like, okay, you know, or maybe just bring back a new Scooby-Doo show with this type of animation and maybe race swap. Okay, I don't think people would have had too big of a problem with that, like, you know, but if they're, I don't know, that's getting too far into other things, so I don't want to go too off track, but I would have loved to see another Scooby-Doo show come out. I would not have mind. a more like one that could have maybe hit like the more middle age, like maybe a bit more in depth, like characters. Like we get a little bit more into the characters, and if it is done properly, man, it would be fucking a banger. But I think what they went for this direction right here was just like stupid. Just stupid. It's just like it doesn't make sense. But because it felt like character assassination, and that's the thing. I don't have a real crazy emotional tie to it. It's not really getting me. But for the time being, like, yeah, I feel like it's fucked up that they did this. Because then, like, I don't know, but I seen somebody comment and say like the hate that this is getting is so satisfying, and that's another thing. I feel like it's kind of what they want. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm gonna let him take it away. I'm gonna stop pausing.
My entire life. The basic narrative, and I stress the word basic here, is that a string of gruesome murders in the local high school draws the attention of Velma Dinkley, a geeky and unpopular teenager who finds herself as the prime suspect. Velma's still haunted by the disappearance of her mum years earlier, but eventually resolves to start investigating, with occasional help from her former friend Daphne and local soy boy Shaggy. Norville. The trail seems to lead to Fred Jones, the local rich kid who has both a motive and an unpredictable personality to back it up. But was he really responsible for the murders, or is there something else at work here? Clearly the intention with Velma was to delve more deeply into the relationships and personalities of these characters, giving us more of an insight into who they are when they're not driving around solving mysteries and what actually brought them together in the first place. I mean, I can't say I ever really cared to delve deeper into the personal lives of people like Fred and Daphne, but here we are. And of course, all the usual tropes of the teen drama are present and correct. The high school cliques, the tension between girls of different social standing, the relationship woes and the unrequited crushes, the troubled home lives, the divorces and the abusive parents, and the
Wait a minute, Shaggy's a failed streamer? What the hell, bro?
Conventional family unit.
Shaggy's old character would have been like the oh my, I don't even know.
It's all populated by a cast of charmless, self-absorbed, neurotic, trite, unlikable morons who all talk and act like they just walked off the set of a Marvel movie, and compounded by dated references and lame attempts at observational humour of the horror genre that movies like Scream did far better 25 years ago. And of course, it's a modern animated show, so naturally it has to be hammered home by the same soulless, generic Cal Arts animation style that pretty much everything relies on these days. Honestly, if you told me that most of these shows were simply produced by an AI, then I would absolutely believe you. Like I say, it's a show which pretty much embodies every negative stereotype and cliche of the modern remake, like the pointless race swapping. Man, it's a total mystery why lead writer Mindy Kaling chose to make Velma Indian. The lame attempts at snarky
Velma's Indian? I thought she was Spanish. I literally, with my bro, I'm like, wait, is she supposed to be like... I didn't watch enough to know that they were Indian. My fault. I thought they were like Dominican or something. My bad, Dominican people. Hang on, my fault. I don't even mean anything, but I just like thought I don't know what I thought, to be honest.
Style humour, the overuse of gay romance, and the constant attempts to work in cultural references that became dated about 5 minutes after they happened. And what's truly baffling about this show is that it tries to wrap all this stuff up in what it believes is a package of ironic, self-aware, postmodern humour. You can't spend half your time criticising the tropes of storytelling while embodying the very cliches of modern remakes that people are so sick and tired of. Now, all of this would be bad enough, resulting in simply another forgettable remake of something far more popular, but the thing that really struck me about Velma is the sheer bitterness and hatred that seems to radiate from it. You really get the sense that this is some kind of emotional colonic irrigation for the writers, like you're witnessing a whole lifetime's worth of petty resentments, jealousy, personal grudges, and bitter regrets being vomited up onto the screen in front of you. I don't know if they had a really tough time in high school or something, but I can't shake the feeling that the whole thing is some kind of coping session against anyone who was more rich, more successful, more popular, or more attractive than them. Either way, the attempted humour in Velma just comes across as hateful and nasty instead of funny and insightful.
Actually,
and man,
yes.
What a weird target for something like this.
Actually, yes. And it's funny is they chose to do this. If it is one of those coping mechanisms, my list. If this is a coping mechanism, why was it done with Scooby-Doo? Just animate your own fucking story. Why would Scooby-Doo? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you take... Okay, so say you were a person who existed. It's like that's like kind of like some evil villain shit, but not really too treacherous. It's like, yes, I wanted to share this pain with everyone. So I want to make the world know how I am mad at the world. So I'm going to take something kind of loved by kids. I love Scooby-Doo and just destroy it. I don't get it.
Like I say, the original Scooby-Doo had a pretty wholesome message about a group of friends from different backgrounds learning to work together to overcome challenges. They each had their own strengths and weaknesses, and no one member of the group could solve the mystery by themselves. It taught kids that every individual has value, that you shouldn't judge a person's worth based on superficial characteristics. But of course, this being a modern remake produced by professional victims with ingrained grievances, the diverse...
Ooh, the way he worded that. Woo, professional victims with ingrown grievances with it.
It taught kids that every individual has value, that you shouldn't judge a person's worth based on superficial characteristics. But of course, this being a modern remake produced by professional victims with ingrained grievances,
love. I love when I throw a little bit of wordplay. Mine is more natural, so it's probably natural for him. But I meant like I either do it or don't do it. But I love when it's blended together in a script. It just flows so nice. I don't know if he's scripting this or he's flowing, but he is flowing. But man, that is the truth. What was this? Sorry for hitting my mic. What was this? Like, I don't understand the purpose behind it. And honestly, like I said, because I don't spend too much time trying to understand something I don't really want to understand. I just take this at whatever face value, and I'm like, all right, they did this. It's out. Can't believe it happened. Move on. But holy shit, in this moment, I'm like, how? I don't understand how. Why? And then if it was like he said, if it's some trauma or something from them growing up, why would you choose Scooby-Doo? Because you had a hard life, you take something that had a wholesome message and you absolutely tarnish its image? What is the purpose? What is the purpose?
Diverse female main character has to be the singular genius who triumphs against the odds, and everyone else just kind of orbits around her, entranced by her all-conquering awesomeness. And of course, the rich white guy is always on hand to be the butt of every single joke. Now, you might be wondering if I'm going to watch the rest of this season so I can give it a fuller review by the end, and the answer to that is... fuck off! Velma isn't worth even a moment more of my time, or anyone else's for that matter. It's a pointless dumpster fire of a show that deserves to be consigned to the ash heap of history as quickly as possible. So do yourself a favour and watch something far more rewarding, like paint drying. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now!
Much love and moonlight, folks. I won't hold you here for any longer. He said what he said. I said what I said. I'm out of here. Jeez.